Linode. Let's spin it up.
July 2025. 3 threads posted within minutes, graphs dropping to 0, 6 hours down, risk of data loss without backups. A single data center event producing global service impact from a platform built on 20 years of reliability. Founded in 2003 before the dominant cloud provider existed. Acquired in 2022 for $900 million by the largest content delivery network. Rebranded in 2023. The same month, a 20% price increase. The community said this was exactly what they feared. By 2025, threads asked whether the platform has declined since the acquisition, whether it is ready for production, whether it should be avoided. Linode, the original indie alternative, now carrying a corporate parent's name, a higher price, and a 6-hour outage affecting services worldwide from a single data center. The question is whether what made it worth trusting still exists under the rebrand. Christopher Aker founded the platform in 2003. The context matters. The dominant cloud provider would not launch its computing service until 2006. Cloud computing was not yet a phrase in common use. The proposition was affordable. Linux servers with root access and predictable pricing for developers who knew what they wanted. The documentation library became a standard reference for server administration far beyond the platform's own users. For 2 decades, the reputation was built on reliability, community trust, and the understanding that the people running the service understood the people using it. The content delivery network that acquired the platform had the world's most distributed edge network, but lacked compute infrastructure. The platform had 20 years of developer credibility, but lacked enterprise security, content delivery, and edge capabilities. The combination was logical on paper. In practice, the first major post-acquisition change was a 20% price increase. The community migration discussion began immediately. A blog post from a competing provider documented the customer exodus. The rebrand in February 2023 retired the original name. One community thread titled it "The End of an Era." The brand identity that had made the platform a trusted choice for a generation of developers was replaced by a corporate cloud product name that carries no independent community loyalty. The post-acquisition complaints accumulate across a specific pattern. February 2023, surprise emergency maintenance notices and abrupt migrations without adequate warning. December 2023, a user documenting that prices kept rising and trust kept falling since the acquisition. January 2024, support not responding for multiple days on a billing issue. September 2024, support addressing a production problem with marketing language about artificial intelligence instead of technical diagnosis. March 2025, a reboot and auto-start bug, booting servers with wrong partition mappings. The July 2025 outage is the incident that crystallized the accumulated frustration into a specific event. A single data center produced global service impact lasting 6 or more hours. The downtime credits offered were described as rarely sufficient relative to the business cost. The recommendation from affected users was to maintain backups outside the platform and to distribute workloads across providers. The outage revealed that the platform's regional isolation was not as robust as the distributed architecture implies. A failure in one location propagated to services that should have been independent. The product in 2026 still provides what the platform was built to provide: Linux servers with root access, managed container orchestration with a free control plane, object storage compatible with the dominant standard, load balancers. The distributed compute regions added through the parent company's network extend the geographic reach beyond what the original platform offered alone. Content delivery, distributed denial of service protection, and edge computing capabilities are available through the parent company's infrastructure. For users who specifically need edge-to-cloud integration, the combined offering provides capabilities no independent alternative in this comparison matches. The limitation is that the developer community advantage that originally distinguished the platform is no longer clearly present. The documentation still exists, the servers still launch, the pricing is no longer the most competitive, the support quality has degraded in documented cases. The brand that developers chose because it felt like dealing with people who understood them has been absorbed into a corporate identity that communicates differently. The competing developer-focused platform in this comparison has better onboarding. The price-focused competitor offers better specifications at lower cost. The European competitor provides more included bandwidth. The question for a new user in 2026 is whether the 20-year operational history and the parent company's network justify choosing this platform over alternatives that cost less and communicate more clearly with the developer community. Someone who has been on the platform for years, whose infrastructure runs reliably, whose workloads do not require the cheapest available pricing, and who values the operational maturity of a platform that has been running servers since 2003, does not need to leave. The core product has not catastrophically degraded. The servers work, the managed services function. The parent company's network provides content delivery and protection capabilities that are available without adding a separate vendor. For existing users whose infrastructure is stable, the acquisition changed the brand more than it changed the uptime. Someone choosing for a new project in 2026 faces a different evaluation. The price premium over the competitors in this comparison is harder to justify without a specific need for the parent company's edge network. The developer experience is not as polished as the developer-focused competitor. The pricing is not as competitive as the price-performance competitor. The included bandwidth is not as generous as the European competitor. The support quality in documented cases has moved away from the technical depth that the community valued toward responses that users describe as scripted and evasive. For a new user with no existing relationship, the platform needs a specific reason to be chosen over the alternatives rather than being the default it once was. The support decay is worth separate attention. A support team that responds to a production problem with marketing language about artificial intelligence capabilities, instead of diagnosing the issue, has lost the thread of what the developer community needs from support. Technical users encountering production failures need technical diagnosis, not product positioning. The shift from technical support to scripted responses is a pattern that follows corporate acquisitions and one that the community identifies as the clearest signal that the culture has changed. The outage resilience question is specific. The July 2025 incident demonstrated that a failure in one data center location produced impact across services that users expected to be independent. For users deploying production workloads, the mitigation is the same as with every cloud provider. Maintain backups outside the platform, distribute critical services across regions, have a migration plan that does not depend on a single provider's availability. The platform is not unique in having outages. The duration of 6 or more hours with global impact from one location is notable relative to the competition. The honest positioning in 2026 is that the platform occupies a middle ground it did not choose. It is no longer the indie developer's trusted choice because the acquisition changed the identity. It is not yet the enterprise cloud the parent company wants it to become because the product experience has not matched the enterprise positioning. It is a mature, operational platform with a corporate parent whose network adds genuine capability, carrying a price increase that the community resented, a support culture that has visibly changed, and a brand identity that the developer community mourns rather than celebrates. The infrastructure works. The identity does not work the way it used to. For users choosing based on infrastructure, the platform is sound. For users choosing based on community trust and developer affinity, the platform the community trusted is the one that existed before the acquisition. Whether the current version earns the same trust depends on whether the operational reliability holds and whether the support culture can recover what the corporate transition lost.